Hey friends, don't forget to hit those buttons over there while you're listening. The New York Times today emailed an article where 24 questions to ask Trump. They also said that they wish they could ask Kamala. And let's get into them. Number one, the signature legislation of your presidency was a tax cut that disproportionately helped the wealthy. Now you want to make this legislation permanent and expanded. How will a tax cut geared toward the rich help most American families? Psst, it won't. It won't. It won't. Anyone who believes in the trickle down, it's not real, and it won't. Number two, the federal debt is already large and your tax cut would expand it. Do you have any plans to reduce it? No, he doesn't. He doesn't care. Isn't he like in massive amounts of debt? Number three, you have sent mixed signals about whether you will try, whether you will try again to repeal Obamacare. Will you? And when will you release your own health care plan as you've long promised? He does not care about our health. 4, you have proposed a big tariff on goods coming into this country. Many business executives and economists say it will raise consumer prices. Why do you think they're wrong? Y'all remember he said that raising the tariffs were going to pay for help with our child care, right? While J.D. Vance told us to use grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles, Number 5, you have signaled that you want to end the Federal Reserve's independence and help set up interest rates yourself. When other countries have politicized their central banks, inflations have tended to rise. Why do you favor this idea? Because he wants to be king. 6, you promised to pass an infrastructure bill as president but didn't. President Biden did, along with bipartisan laws on veterans' health, manufacturing, and more. Why has he been a better bipartisan president, or a more bipartisan president, than you were? 7, you've said that you were proud of the demise of Roe v. Wade and that states should decide abortion policy. Will you promise to veto any congressional bill that imposes new restrictions on states? Many abortions occur through prescription medication. 5 months ago, you said you would announce a policy on medication abortion, but you haven't. Will you take executive actions to restrict its availability? 9, you promised to build a border wall, a policy that many voters support, but you completed only modest sections of it. Why should voters believe you will succeed in a second term? 10, you have called for the mass deportation of illegal immigrants. Whom exactly would you deport? Everybody who's in the country illegally, including children and people who've been here for years, or only some groups? And how would you identify and apprehend people? 11, extreme heat, severe storms, and flooding have all become more common, yet you've called climate change not our problem. Are you worried about the world you're leaving to your grandchildren? No, he doesn't care. And I want to jump back up to 10 and talk about the lies and misinformation that is being spread about immigrants at the moment, right? We got Colorado, Ohio. No, dude. Ugh. Number 12, you've suggested that Vladimir Putin should have a freer hand to do what he wants in Europe. Would you try to withdraw the U.S. from NATO? Didn't he try to do that? I don't know. 13, you have criticized the U.S. military aid to Ukraine and pledged to end the war there in a single day. Isn't this effectively calling for Ukraine to surrender and accept a peace deal favorable to Putin? 14, you have promised to bring home the hostages in Gaza. How would you persuade or force H to release them all? He wouldn't. Didn't he say he would just give Yahoo everything he wanted? 15, Middle East policy during your presidency often followed the wishes of the Yahoo is not real's prime minister. His unwillingness to compromise on big questions appears to be an obstacle to peace. Do you disagree with him on anything? Doesn't sound like it. 16, if Iran appeared to be building a nuclear weapon, would you order a military attack? 17, you are tougher on China than your predecessors, but you also recently abandoned your opposition to China's ownership of TikTok, evidently after being lobbied by a Republican donor. Are you willing to stand up to China, even if it costs your allies money? 18, you tried to overturn the 2020 election result after Biden beat you, but do you believe in American democracy? 19. On January 6th, rioters attacked police officers at the Capitol. I just reported on the 11 strikes in 16 seconds that one of the rioters did on a police officer with a hockey stick, right? And how, he's praising them. But when the Black Panthers peacefully, like, if this had even been a peaceful revolution, I'm afraid that people would have been hurt. They would have been. Anyways, you've got Trump praising those rioters, raised money for them, pledged to pardon them, met with their relatives. Does he understand why this angers the officers who were injured in the attack and the families of those who died afterward? Number 20, a jury found that you essayed E. Jean Carroll. Another jury convicted you for falsifying records to cover up an affair. And you have a long record of demeaning women. Do you regret any of this behavior? No, he doesn't. He was just... No. 21, you use your power as president to enrich yourself and your family, including holding events at your properties. Will you do so again? Of course he would. 22, the governments of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE have invested billions of dollars with a fund run by Jared Kushner, your son-in-law, even though he has little relevant investment experience. Do you think that they're trying to curry favor with you through him? 23, 4 years from now, you would be 82. In public appearances, you sometimes give incoherent answers, including a recent one about childcare, because tariffs are going to pay for that. Will you release... Oh, and, J.D. Vance, they want the aunt and the uncle, grandma, grandpa. Did I already say that? Deja vu. Will you release your complete medical records? 24. Multiple people who watched you up close as president, including your vice president and the chief of staff, say that you're unfit to be president. Why do so many of your appointees feel this way? I feel like those questions are just enough to be like, definitely not Trump. I don't know. As tonight is the debate. Says it's high stakes, which I think it's just a joke. Apparently they're virtually tied at the polls. Will Trump restrain himself? Trump recently mixed up names, stumbled over words, rambled. That's nothing new. He is an incoherent... While Harris mostly critiques policy, they say, Trump insults, which, yeah, we know. More than 3 times a day he's been insulting her. Oh, snap. Harris's campaign website now has an issues page. I guess we still don't have policies. It mostly mirrors Biden's stance and also criticizes Project 2025. Trump said he would vote for a Florida ballot measure to legalize a recreational Mary Jane. Apparently the eccentric right-wing German princess who hosted Justice Samuel Alito and his wife at her castle last summer praised him as pro-life in a time where the majority follows the culture of death. I don't know how many times, y'all know that, like, the dog tilting its head, like, just confused. Justice, Elena Kagan said Americans were right to worry about the Supreme Court soon limiting contraceptive access and same-sex marriage. Several congressional Republicans, including J.D. Vance and Ted Cruz, have spread a false story about Haitian immigrants eating pets in Ohio. We've got James Earl Jones. I loved his voice. I don't think I heard any dirt about him. I don't know. Passed away at 93 yesterday. Polaris Dawn has launched with the billionaires. Let's see what happens. At least 7 counties in southeastern Kentucky have closed the schools because they still haven't found the people from Saturday, y'all. Teenage girls' brains have aged rapidly during the pandemic shutdowns, a new study shows. And that, like, angered me. I don't know why. This Liz Magic Laser traces the political history of the raised fist from Black Panthers to Trump. And putting Black Panthers and Trump in one sentence together took my breath away. It made me... What? Okay. Don't forget to hit those buttons over there. I hope your day doesn't suck. Okay, love y'all. Bye.